Now, as nothing terribly exciting happened this week in my blog, I want to address something which is known as the myth of redemptive violence. And this has been sparked by a set of sort of threads recently on the forum, and my discomfort with the way that some people have sort of very gung-ho attitudes to me that are quite foreign, because they're a little bit sort of disregarding of the law of the land. I guess it stems from the Old Testament law that says that that you should have an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, meaning literally that if somebody has hurt you in some way, you should be able to, and in fact it is lawful to, hurt them back in the same way. That's not something that in the New Testament is affirmed in quite the same way. Yes, in terms of if you do something bad or if you do something sinful, it is righteous for that sin to be punished, but it's not necessarily the victim or the friends, family or anybody associated with the victim to exact their revenge in the same way. In fact, that is the sort of coining term that harks back to "vengeance is mine, saith the Lord." In other words, anything that happens like that will be dealt with on a divine basis, and doesn't need God doesn't need human beings to exact his revenge for him. Now, quite often you get Christians that say, "Oh yes, we understand that completely." But in this world there are people that do really, really very sick and very nasty things. And there are, it's maybe a natural instinct if you are following that, or if you hear about it, to get angry and to want to have a spare moment where you may take or exact your anger, your righteous anger, out on the person who has done that crime. Even if you're not actually related to them, you may just think that is so sick, that person deserves, do you know what I mean? If you put him in a room with me right now, we'd have it out, and I would make him pay for what he's done. What I don't like is the amount of, and I have to say, these generally tend to be on the forum, the very, very strong Republican Americans, male Americans, that tend to then agree and, yes, let's do that, let's go and let's beat the hell out of him, so to speak, because he deserves it. That is a myth, a complete myth. That well, there's two things. First, it's a complete myth on a moral scale, that you have a right to exact any vengeance on anybody for anything that they have done wrong. Secondly, there is a system in place called the law of the land that deals with thank you, my cat is just intervening there. There is a system called the law of the land that deals with people who do crimes. You may not agree that the punishment is fitting for the crime. You may not agree that the law actually serves justice. But if you defy that law, you make yourself a criminal as well. If you make yourself a criminal, you are as bad as that person. And we have had very important people on the forum with a certain amount of status this week suggesting, and we've had other people, patrons, agreeing that, we had a case of somebody doing something quite evil, and this person, who I won't name, because the thread has been deleted since, but this person, one of the moderators, was like, you know, I shall offer money to be in the same room as that person, to basically kick the shit out of them, and to exact my vengeance. And we had a lot of patrons agreeing. And I have to say, that's totally outrageous. That is absolutely outrageous. It is wrong, and I have made a note of the people who were, you know, involved, and think that that sort of behaviour is right, even if you are angry, even if they do deserve it. And, you know, some of you people don't understand how I can have a problem with people that are going to let temper and let their judgment be clouded by temper and vengeance. You don't understand why I think letting you have firearms in that situation is a bad idea. I have to say that got me quite angry this week. That did get me quite angry this week. So I thought I'd just sort of, you know, talk about that and stress that it is a myth, and that, you know, those people who do evil like that will get their comeuppance. But if you were to intervene and break the law, you are as bad as them, and you will get your comeuppance on a spiritual level as well.